Planning and controlling are both important. Planning sets the goals for the organization, and controlling ensures their accomplishment. Planning decides the control process, and controlling provides sound basis for planning.
How is planning related to controlling? Planning is related to controlling because planning is the process wherein you will set your goals or the things that you wanted to achieve in the organization. Controlling is the process wherein it will lead the implementation of what you planned to achieve your goals in the organization. In short, planning and controlling is dependent to each other.
How is planning related to controlling? Planning and controlling are two separate functions of management, but they are closely related. Without the foundation of planning, controlling activities becomes baseless, and also without controlling, planning turns into a meaningless activity.
Planning and controlling are two different functions of management, but interrelated to each other. Planning is the first function and control is the last one. They are both dependent to each other. Without the basis of planning, controlling activities become baseless. And without controlling, planning become a meaningless exercise. Planning precedes controlling and controlling succeeds planning. If planning fails due to some unforeseen event, there's controlling comes to the rescue. And their combined efforts are to reach maximum output with minimum of cost.
How is planning related to control? Controlling is a durable function of management. Planning and controlling are integral parts of management, as both important for smooth running of an activities. This by planning and at right place through control.
Planning and controlling are related to each other. Planning sets the goal while the controlling ensures their accomplishment. Planning is achieving the objectives of an organization and the controlling measures the actual performance against the planned goals of the organization. So all in all, planning and controlling are dependent to each other.
How is planning related to the controlling? Planning and controlling are interrelated to each other. Planning sets the goals for the organization and controlling ensure their accomplishment. Planning decides to the control process and controlling provides sound basis of planning.
Planning and controlling are directly related because they depend on each other. We all know that planning sets the goal for the organization and controlling is the function who ensure that the activities should be accomplished. Control is not possible unless plans are made.
Hi po, good day. My name is Ira Fabra and the question number 1 is how is planning related to the controlling? Planning and controlling are interrelated to each other. Planning set goals for the organization and the controlling ensures their accomplishment. Controlling is the performance compared with standards and deviation. The information collected during the control is used for planning. Planning is the initial step while the controlling is the process required at every step. The planning and controlling are both concerned with the achievement of business goals. Thank you.
Related to controlling? Planning related to controlling because if you have a plan, there must also be control will take place. To ensure the success of your plan, you need to control everything that needs to be fixed and done.
Planning and controlling are interrelated to each other. Planning sets the goal for the organization and controlling ensures the accomplishment. Things don't go always as planned. That's why controlling is there.
Since we all learn the terms, we can already relate them with each other. In order to achieve the desired goals, of course, the first step is to decide what strategies they should do. Then, in finishing the task, controlling is applied, which is to ensure that plans smoothly meeting the goals.
Planning is related to controlling because they are concerned with the future activities of the business. The controlling function compares the actual performance with the planned performance, and if there's no planned performance, then the controlling manager will not able to know whether the actual performance is okay or not.
How is planning
How is planning related to controlling? Planning and controlling are inseparable functions of management. Activities are put on rails by planning, and they are kept at the right place through controlling. Planning and controlling are integral parts of organization, and they are both important for smooth running of enterprise.
Planning and controlling are interrelated to each other. Planning sets the goals for the organization, and controlling ensures their accomplishment.
So the first question is, how is planning related to controlling? So the both of us, they are planning and controlling, they are interrelated to each other. So planning and controlling, planning they are set goals or organization, and the controlling is there to ensure accomplishment.
How controlling is related to planning? Controlling is related to planning because planning is meaningless without controlling, and controlling is blind without planning.
So I'm going to answer the questions. These are number 1, how planning is related to controlling. So planning is related to controlling in a way that planning set a goal in the organization, and then the controlling assures that there's a accomplishment or achievement.
How is planning related to controlling? Planning and controlling is inseparable in the function of management. The activity are put on rails by planning, and also they keep at right places through controlling, so that planning and controlling are integral part of an organization.
Question number 1 po yung napili ko. So, planning and controlling po are interrelated with each other. As for planning po, it sets the goal for the organization. And controlling naman po, it ensures the organization's accomplishment. Planning decides to control process and provide sound basis for planning. In reality, planning and controlling are both dependent with each other.
So, how does planning related to controlling? Planning and controlling are interrelated to each other because planning is the set of activities that you want to achieve in your organization, and controlling ensures its accomplishment. Just like, for example, I plan to do some activities, and my control to do that activities will ensure its progress and accomplishment.
Planning and controlling are related to each other in such a way that planning sets the goals in an organization that should be achieved through controlling that ensures the success or accomplishment in any goals that was planned.
So, planning. Planning is the process of establishing organization goals and objectives and suitable strategies to achieve those objectives. Planning is a primary function of management, while a plan is not a function of management. Planning is a process, while a plan a document.
Planning is related to controlling in terms that they stand together to achieve the organizational goals. Both should be properly executed, and just like planning, if the organization fails to control, then there will be a negative effect or negative outcome.
The question I choose is question number 1. How is planning related to controlling? Planning and controlling are interrelated to each other. Planning sets the goals for the organization, and controlling ensures their accomplishment. Planning decides the control process, and controlling provides sound basis for planning. In reality, planning and controlling are both dependent on each other.
How is planning related to controlling? Planning and controlling are the inseparable function of management. Activities are placed on rails by planning, and they're unbroken at the right place through controlling. Planning and controlling are integral elements of the company, of each are necessary. Then, planning while not controlling is meaningless. Controlling is blind without planning.
Planning and controlling are inseparable functions of management. activities put on rails by planning and they are kept at the right place through controlling. They are both integral parts of an organization and they are both important for smooth running of an enterprise. Thank you.
Planning wouldn't be successful without controlling, just like how controlling wouldn't be exist without a concrete plan. So they exist for each other's function.
Planning and controlling are linked together, whereas planning serves as the blueprint and yung controlling is actually taking into actions all of the elements na naka-indicate dun sa planning, whereas yung effectiveness ng planning is nakadepende dun sa controlling, because kapag hindi okay yung pagkakakontrol is madi-disregard yung planning, and kapag okay naman yung pagkakakontrol, then there's a possibility na hindi effective yung planning na ginawa.
Planning is related to controlling, by which planning is the establishment of goals for the organization, and controlling is the accomplishment of those goals. As an example, controlling the employees' work performance in order for the goals or plans to be effectively done.
To controlling, because if the manager didn't control, there is no way of knowing whether their goals and plan were achieved and what future actions to take.
Question number 1. How is planning related to controlling? Planning and controlling are two separate functions of management, yet they are closely related. Because without the basis of planning, controlling activities becomes baseless. And without controlling, planning becomes a meaningless exercise. In absence of controlling, no purpose can be served by. Therefore, planning and controlling reinforce each other.
So planning is related to controlling as they both interdependent on each other, because if there's no goals and objectives set by the company, then there will be no controlling to ensure the accomplishment of the said goals and objectives.
Planning would be useless if the controlling did not execute well according to its plan. Same thing for the controlling, if the planning did not have a great plan. So both of them need each other to play great, just like basketball, so they could win the game.
In question number 1, how planning is related to controlling? It is both focus on the goals. In planning is defining a goals, while in the controlling is a goal-oriented that focus on the result on the goals that they planned.
So, how is planning related to controlling? Kumbaga, itong dalawang to is kambal na magkakita. Bakit? Kasi without the basis of planning, controlling becomes baseless. And then, without controlling, planning is nothing or useless.
How planning is related to controlling. Control is integrated planning. As one plans, the element of control immediately take place to consider how every turnout of plan may be evaluated and rectified. So if you plan, you take control.
How is planning related to controlling? Planning and controlling are related to each other because planning sets the goals while controlling ensures the accomplishment. But in reality, they are both dependent to each other.
My answer in question number 1 is planning and controlling are interrelated to each other. Planning sets the goal in the organization, and the controlling goal is to ensure the accomplishment in the organization. Planning decides the control process, and the controlling provides sound basis for planning. In reality, planning and controlling are both depending on each other.
For question number 1, how is planning related to controlling? Ang planning kasi is related talaga siya sa controlling. For my example, doing work papers. All activities are put in planning to organize at the right place. Parang nagagamit mo na rin yung controlling sa paggawa ng work papers mo, kung ano man yung position mo sa work.
Hi, I'm Kenneth Cyril C. Abrio. And how is planning related to controlling? The planning and controlling are inseparable function of management. Activity are put on relays by planning, and they are kept at right place without controlling. Planning and control are integral parts of an organization, both and important for smooth running of enterprise. That's all. Thank you.
Planning is the first function of management, while controlling is the last function. Without planning, we will not know how we should act or control orderly, and without controlling, planning will be useless.